For over a decade, Tim Hovland has been the most exciting, colorful, entertaining, crowd-pleasing player in pro beach volleyball history. He, along with quiet partner Mike Dodd, spent much of the 80s celebrating as they won 52 tournaments together. Yeah, you remember him. Javi Dodd, the big game hunters, the kings of the bank. They had it all. But then suddenly it was over. Frustration set in. There was one last win in Fresno of last year. But then the vaunted team of Hovland and Dodd had split up for good. Initially, Hovland found success with Kent Steffes. But after that, Dodd won one with Ricky Luyties. But after that, both players were tormented, especially Hovland. He couldn't win with Frohoff. He couldn't win with Powers. So what did he do? He called up Dodd. Javi Dodd back together again? Yes, and it's today. Hovland and Dodd are back. But can they win? Find out next as Prime Network presents Men's Pro Beach Volleyball. Javi Dodd. It's the Miller Lite Cleveland Open. We welcome you to one of the most unique and picturesque settings on the men's professional beach volleyball tour. They call it the Nautica Complex at the Flats. And today, a capacity crowd here in rejuvenated Cleveland, Ohio will watch the best on the beach battle for the buck. Hello again, everybody, and welcome. I'm Chris Marlowe. First of all, right off the bat, we should tell you that the great Hovland and Dodd reunification experiment has ended in disappointment, at least for today. Javi and Dodd going out in 5th place, having been eliminated by Brent Frohoff and Scott Akatebe. We should also tell you that St. John Smith and Randy Stokos are not here. The Kings of the Beach opted to play in a tournament in Italy. Reportedly, they are getting a guaranteed $30,000 apiece to go over there if they win prize money. That is gravy. You can see why they went. One man who did not go, that chose to hang out with me in Cleveland, Paul Sunderland. And
hey,
Paul,
they offered me 20. I just wanted to come to Cleveland.
I'm glad you stayed with me.
All right,
Thank goodness. Let's talk about the Pro Tour just a bit. Since we've been on the Midwestern Eastern swing, it seems to be a changing of the guard. The old guys not doing as well. The young guns coming up.
Well, like the weather, you never know quite what to expect when you come to the East and the Midwest. But certainly the biggest impact was the return of Karch Kirai. He and Kent Steffes go on and win 4 out of the 6 tournaments in which they played. And even Steve Timmons had a big impact with some great records against Smith and Stokos in particular the first couple of weeks. Hovland and Dodd have struggled. Smith and Stokos were 0 for July. I can't remember the last time that ever happened. And Pat Powers is certainly killing himself for dumping Adam Johnson. Powers has taken a couple of nights back-to-back. Adam Johnson and Ricky Luyties have really emerged the last couple of weeks, winning last week in Milwaukee, and they're going to be a factor the rest of the way. So lots and lots going on.
So a lot of new players, and yet, once again this week, a lot of new teams. We alluded to Hovland and Dodd, their last tournament together at Milwaukee, but they finished 5th. How about some of the other teams that played this week?
Well, they played pretty well, but struggled. Pat Powers, Al Jantz again on a 9th, did not play particularly well. Bill Bullion and Jim Mingus played extremely well, sided out well. Lost a game in overtime on the clock, and Owen McKibben and Tim Walmer, a new team this week. How did they do? They were absolutely tremendous, finishing in 4th. Owen McKibben's best finish of his career. Tim Walmer has finished up high in the past, but they were outstanding. Hovland and Dodd, we've talked about them. Craig Muttard and Rudy Dvorak played so hard, finishing 5th. Scott Friedrichsen and Brian Lewis lost in the first round, claw all the way back into 7th. And who are these guys? You know these guys, Chris? Jimmy Nichols and Troy Tanner. Remember him, All-American out of Pepperdine. Come right off the 4-man circuit and finish 7th here. And John Hanley and Mike Whitmarsh go right from the penthouse in Milwaukee to the doghouse in Cleveland, going from a 2nd there to a 17th here. And they are the Tidy Bowl Team of the Week.
And that certainly is quite a flush from 2nd down to 17th. 8. Let's talk about the Miller Lite Grand Prix bonus pool. It is tightening up. Kent Steffes, theoretically, if he wins the last 3 tournaments, he can win it by himself. Keep in mind, Smith and Stokos don't get any points this week.
Well, they're not here. Kent is down 17 as we speak. Going to make him some ground this week. Tim Hovland, Adam Johnson's going to move up. He's playing extremely well. Pat Powers going in the other direction. Brent Frohoff, Mike Dodd. That 8 could shuffle around as we look at the second group. Ricky Luyties obviously going to move up. Scott Akatabi. Karch Kirai is already 11th after only 6 events. Hanley, Whitmarsh, Clark, and Wirtz played well early, have been struggling lately. And my player of the week, Tim Walmer, along with his partner Owen McKibben, down in 16th. And if we ended the season here in lovely Cleveland, $70,000 apiece for Smith and Stokos, Kent Steffes, Tim Hovland, Johnson, Powers, Frohoff, and Dodd. So much money in the Miller Lite Grand Prix Series. But let's remember, Chris, 3 more Miller Lite tournaments, over $1 million at stake in those 3 events. So this is pressure time.
And just a reminder, the bonus pool, if Kent Steffes can win the last 3 tournaments, he will emerge alone $100,000 richer. Could it happen? Well, he has to win today. Stay with us. Sunderland back on the 1991 AVP Tour, the Miller Lite Cleveland Open, getting ready for final action. Karch Kirai and Kent Steffes going for the title against Ricky Luyties and Adam Johnson, the dream team against Thunder and Lightning. Our first referee is Jim Leonard. Jim Leonard, our first referee, he is up, and our second referee once again is Verna Klubnikin. It will be a double final. Kirai and Steffes have to win the game to 15 and then 1 game to 7 to win this particular title. There is a 12-minute clock involved, at least in the game to 15. And then I believe a 6-minute clock in the game to 7. So here we go. Luyties and Johnson against Kirai and Steffes. And the key could be Kent Steffes, 6'4", 210, but he has looked a little sluggish so far.
Well, I think it's going to come down to a battle between Kent Steffes and Ricky Luyties. Whoever has the biggest impact, the most successful match, will win this championship.
Strategy-wise, we know that Karch and Kent are going to serve that man, Ricky Luyties, a little more. He's 29 years old, just turned, and he has become the heartthrob, the Tom Cruise, Arnold Schwarzenegger of beach volleyball. He has become so popular with the fans. 2 official career wins. And right down the middle, the ace for Ricky Luyties.
Husband and wife up the middle, both Steffes and Kirai saying, you take it, I've got it, and he drops.
1-0.
Not so harmlessly up the middle. You go, you go, you go, no, you go. No communication.
Luyties, once again, he'll try Karch. 3 volleyball players that went to UCLA, and Adam Johnson, who went to USC. There's AJ.
Put that down as mistake number 1. First serve to Karch Kirai. That was their first mistake.
Kirai will serve, 6'3", 190. He might weigh a little more than that now. 30 years old. He'll be 31 in November. Down the line, an ace for Karch. So both teams open up with aces, and the crowd getting into it just a bit.
Very hard to appreciate how difficult this serve is to hit. Your body wants to pull the ball into the cross court. Very, very difficult to hit the jump serve down the line with any kind of velocity and accuracy.
Karch Kirai, married to Jana. They already have 1 son, Christian, and I am told that another is on the way. Scoop right here on Prime Network. I'm not even sure Karch knows about it. 6 weeks, Jana is pregnant, expecting their second child.
Somehow I think he would know.
And a dig up and over and out. Is it going into the river again?
I think it's stuck on top of the sound stage.
It's up high. And that will be the end of that fig for today.
I promise you, there'll be 100 people after this tournament is over who will be climbing up there to try to get that ball.
Now, the river has gobbled up 3 or 4 balls already. That is the, I believe it's the Cuyahoga River.
No, it's the Cuyahoga.
Cuyahoga River. As we look at the tournament trail while they search for another ball. And they have to figure that out. Johnson and Luyties got by Carrillo and Zapata. Defeated Mir and Welch easily by Walmer and McKibben. And then knocked off Kirai and Steffes. For Karch and Steffes, 15-3, 15-3. Frohoff and Akatabi, they drilled. Lost to Johnson and Luyties, and then had some problems with Frohoff and Akatabi. Fro kept him out in the sand for a long time.
Once again, Spalding.
And so Adam Johnson will put the ball in play using a Spalding top flight, the official ball of the AVP, and it's a good one, the best leather ball made for sure, at least right now. And Johnson misses his serve. So are we going to see a number of service errors again?
I don't think so. I think Kirai and Steffes learned their lesson. Karch said he wants to put more pressure on Ricky Luyties. If they start missing a number, as Steffes misses his first, I think they'll stay down and get the ball on Luyties.
Ricky Luyties, he said his big breakthrough this year came in San Antonio when he won with Mike Dodd. Confidence soared, and then last weekend winning the big one on NBC in Milwaukee, because everybody had talked about that Milwaukee tournament, how important it was, and he and Adam Johnson clicked chemistry-wise.
Confidence, absolutely the key for both of them. Both kind of quiet, both low-key guys, and they need to get rolling here early. And Steffes accommodating, hitting a ball out of bounds, but coming right back for the side out. Johnson and Luyties lead now 2, serving 1 to Kirai and Steffes.
6'5", 210 pounds of Luyties. Interestingly, Kirai and Luyties played on the same collegiate team together. They were both setters for Al Skates and won numerous national championships. And the dig, good dig by Steffes. Good shot. Trying for the sub. What a set, Johnson. Deep. Kirai has it. And Kirai hits it.
There were 3, maybe count them 4 unbelievable plays. Here's number 1. The great set by Ricky Luyties. Don't think Karch Kirai. He'll get it every time. And then the chop over the top.
Karch serving, tied at 2. And he waffles one long. So service errors mounting up here early, as Adam Johnson has the ball and will put it into play. Former NCAA Player of the Year, 1986 for USC. And there's the double contact. Jim Leonard making the call.
This is what I don't like. You hear all the people in the stands booing. They just don't understand. They don't want a rally or a point stopped because of something as subtle as that.
Well, I think he's the first referee that's blown his whistle on a double contact. Well, that's why they don't like it. 3-2 is our score. Coming back to Cleveland on the double contact on Karch. Yeah. Paul Sunderland, why is this a double contact or a throw?
Well, you'll see when the ball comes out. I think Karch double hits this ball. You see him take it just a little bit down, and it comes right hand to left hand, was spinning quite a bit. But all that said, I still don't think it should have been called.
You like this?
I thought it was just fine. I think the game's moving in that direction. The fans want to see plays ended by excitement.
Johnson will serve.
Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland, our championship final. Adam Johnson serving. His partner Ricky Luyties is up at the net. Johnson with the blonde hair. Luyties is the brunette at the net. Steffes in black and green. Karch is the other guy. And over the top goes Kent Steffes. So Steffes
Side out.
trying to get his act together.
And Steffes will serve. 2-3.
And Steffes will serve. Youngest player ranked and the highest player ranked in the top 40 of the youngsters. 3-2. Johnson Luyties by 1. And down the line goes Luyties.
Adam Johnson, you could hear him yell cut, and Ricky said, doesn't matter, I'm going to just rip this one straight up the line. When Ricky Luyties passes the ball well, he's going to be competitive. Karch jumps way into the angle, and Ricky reacts, chopping the ball straight down the line.
I talked to all-time great Ron Von Hagen this week on the phone. He said he loved Luyties, but why didn't he take off his T-shirt, his Red Sand T-shirt, in Milwaukee? He's got such a great build.
Well, one, it was raining.
It's just out of bounds. The rainbow went out.
Just out of bounds. Kirai and Steffes working hard to get back on that line. Now, right now, they're not sure, but Karch is going back, looking, calling right at the end out.
I think Steffes might have taken that had he been able to get it. He couldn't.
Well, but Karch was working hard back with him.
Luyties off Steffes over the top. Now, get a look at Luyties' build. I mean, he is built like a Greek god. All these players are, but Luyties in particular. Johnson a little more slightly built. You think he could use some weight work over the winter, Adam Johnson?
I'm not sure how much it would change his body altogether, but I think Adam needs to get stronger. I think he's never spent all that much time in the weight room, and it could really help him.
Shank pass and belted out of bounds.
There's the weakness right there. If Ricky Luyties has one area you want to attack, make him pass the ball. He's been a setter almost his entire career. In other words, he's used to taking the ball overhand, but really not a great passer.
3-3 is our score. Steffes still serving. They're having some problems with the line, or the ribbon as I call it now. It's blowing just a bit.
Well, you remember that in the interview, Kent Steffes talked about the wind down on the court, and we're open at one end up the Cuyahoga River, and I guess the wind coming through there at a pretty good pace.
Johnson tapping over the top. So Johnson and Luyties tied 3-3 against Karch Kiraly and Kent Steffes. Final action. And now you can get a good look at Ricky Luyties, the physical. He's a weightlifter, does a lot of weight work with the ex-UCLA star Reed Sunahara as his advisor. Oh, great dig by Johnson!
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if you're going to take the Chester, and that's about a 90-mile-an-hour spike right off your pecs,
4-3.
it's good when it goes down for a kill. Kent thinks this ball is buried, and it is. Look at that. AJ says, yo, what else?
4-3. Now 5-3 as Luyties, as he has been doing in recent weeks, coming up with a big or money play.
Excellent change of pace. Just throwing in the short topspin serve. Dying just over the top of the tape.
Talked to Ricky Luyties. He said he was hoping to win in Milwaukee. Today, he thinks he has a good chance. And I asked him if he ever expected to win. Well, he says he doesn't want to expect to win. He just wants to have a good chance and be right in the hunt. And right now, his team is 5-3. Johnson and Luyties are in command. What a great spot. The Nautica complex. It's a battle right now. Steffes going up against Luyties. They're getting all the serves. And during the old days, players would love this. Are you tougher? Are you stronger than your counterpart? If Luyties gets all the serves and Steffes gets all the serves, who will survive? Kent and Adam right now are the setters as Ricky Luyties sets to put the ball in play. His mother Italian, his father Dutch. Ricky is Italian, Luyties is Dutch. His father Frederick and his whole family very, very excited about last week's win. If you
I know, we got the clock.
And once again, the clock zapped to 0. As Jim Leonard said, let's play ball. And crushing it straight down, Kent Steffes.
Steffes cutting in front.
Karch gets the assist.
Side out, 4-6. Kiraly will serve.
Let's take note of the score here. 6-4 on the side change. There you see the clock malfunctioning. Had that same problem in the semifinals. I'm sure they'll correct it again. But now Kiraly and Steffes on the good side. What will be the score at the next side change?
Now working on Adam Johnson this time. And it's blocked.
Oh, that's got to be a lift.
Karch has this one. Big play here. Karch needs a point. Oh, and Luyties can't scoop it out of the sand. Not a brilliant rally, but
I really think AJ got away with one out of the net. You've got to rebound the ball cleanly, and it looked like the ball stuck against him. Karch getting to all the shots, and he's much better on the left than on the right, but knows where to find the open area. Luyties with a late chance.
Johnson not quite low enough to play that ball out. When it hits the bottom of the net, it's going to pop outwards. 6-5 is our score, and AJ thunders one by Steffes. Karch and Kent changing strategy going to Johnson now, or you think just a couple of missed serves?
Well, I think they're trying to change it up just a little bit. Take a look at Adam Johnson on the bad side. Keep him honest. And Luyties looked like he was getting in a pretty good rhythm. You want to get players out of rhythm.
As we said, not much of a difference today. Good side, bad side. No howling wind, no thundering rain, no bright sun. Actually, pretty good conditions. And Karch calling it out. You could really hear it cut. And Johnson and Luyties talking it over. What would they be talking about, Paul? Coordination?
Yeah, coordination, exactly. Adam thought that Ricky was going to back up to the different side on the fake block, so they were both covering about 6 feet of real estate.
And Steffes with the low toss and the low spike serve.
Get rid of the jump serve. Had problems with it in the semifinal. Karch is trying to keep him involved, saying, way to go for it, but I just would not be jump serving if I were Kent Steffes.
Ricky Luyties will put the ball in play, and he says to Johnson, what do you got for me?
Out.
And Sometimes you can be so concerned with the signals that you don't really concentrate on your serve, and I think that's what happened that time.
Well, you only have about 10 seconds to put the ball in play. The referees aren't going to let you stand there and talk about the stock market or the latest movie you saw. So you've got to keep your concentration and get the communication sharp.
Working on Luyties again. Karch has it. And Steffes. He has tried that play for weeks, going on to depriving Karch of a spiking opportunity. It's open. He just has to convert it.
Well, Karch is gobbling up everything in the backcourt now, and right about now he says, hit it if you want, and Kent says thanks.
Good encouragement from Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kirai and Steffes are much better at scoring when Kirai's back playing defense.
Luyties with thunder.
Hey, General Schwarzkopf couldn't have stopped that one. No block. Steffes pulling out a little early, and this is just athletic ability.
Just a reminder that Killer Loop Sunglasses by Bausch & Lomb, the official sunglasses of the AVP, will present the Killer Loop Kill Award this week to whichever player has the most kills in the final match, final couple of games. The winner will receive $500 from Bausch & Lomb. Nice little addendum as Karch tipping it through Ricky.
I think another mistake. Keep the ball on Kent Steffes. He's been tentative. He's been a little bit shaky. And Karch, I think, is hitting 100% so far.
Karch can hit the ball pretty good. He's not so bad. Kent started at Stanford, went to UCLA, still there.
Come on!
And tapping it down the line is Johnson. Johnson has really developed over the last year and a half. His shots have been impeccable. Luyties racking up some kills, but he's getting some serves. So is Kent. Johnson not getting many opportunities. And the tapathon is going now.
Well, you really have to respect this. It may get a little tedious at times, but jump serving back and forth, a little bit of breeze. These players are passing, setting, hitting, communicating, and blocking. Just a perfection right here for long side-out streaks.
Kirai serving. We're tied at 6. And right now, Kirai and Steffes should realize they're not getting many points on Adam Johnson. Getting a good set from Luyties.
There we go, off 6, huh?
Interestingly, you usually never notice the setter or the set until he does something poorly. When you see a throw or a set over the net, then you know that something bad is happening. But usually the setter, kind of the unsung hero of the pass, the set, the hit.
Well, he's the quiet partner, but he's oftentimes the most important. Blocking has become such a dominant part of this game. After you set the ball, you've got to look at the defense and give your hitter choices. Let's listen to Ricky Luyties.
Over! No!
And over and down into the corner.
After you set the ball, you look at the back row defender to see which area of the court he is covering, look at the blocker, and then give quick, concise input to your hitter.
Luyties will now serve. Confidence building for Ricky Luyties. Oh, had been a confident player at UCLA. Was the 2-time most valuable player in the NCAAs. Won 4 NCAA titles, so you get your confidence up. Karch rejected by Luyties. So Ricky Luyties, I believe that's his first stuff block.
First block for Ricky Luyties. And Karch really not with much choice that time. The ball set right on top of the net. He was actually trying to hit the blocker.
And Karch mad just a bit. Pounds one to the sand, 7-6. Johnson and Luyties have a 1-point lead.
This is the shot that Karch throws in about 1 out of every 10 times, but the players seem to want to stop it the most. He much prefers to go cross court. I'd let him have that one.
Ooh, just out. Didn't miss by much.
Oh, boy. Tom Pestalozzi, one of the linesmen, is showing Karch Kirai with his hands about 6 inches. I say it's more like one, and Adam Johnson just went over and kicked sand on the ball mark.
See, aces to errors. Both teams serving okay now because they have thrown in that 50% ratio of aces to errors. Johnson gobbles. Uh-oh, uh-oh. And Karch up high. Bruin over Trojan. A jump ball. Karch going to win every one against Adam Johnson.
Slam dunk knuckler and a big mistake by Ricky Luyties. This is a big mistake. You got to give your hitter a chance, and Ricky's just grabbing himself saying, boy, that one stunk.
Steffes trying to find his jump serve. Can't. Whips another one out of bounds. Trying to hang in by siding out is Steffes, getting all the serves. Much more confident this year than he was last year. Bigger and stronger. Got to come over. Luyties touched it, and he can't scoop it out. So a tough chance for Luyties and Johnson.
But I think that's a good sign. That shows you that Luyties has so much confidence in his ability to side out right now that he's willing to take some chances with that ball instead of just giving Kirai and Steffes a free one.
Ricky told me for him that the key is the pass. If he passes well, he hits well. There's a pretty good pass. And a pretty good hit. But he said the confidence.
Side out.
Wherever you may be watching around the United States on Prime Network, I'm Chris Marlowe along with Paul Sunderland. This is the Miller Lite Cleveland Open final action. Adam Johnson right there with the ball. His partner Ricky Luyties leading Steffes and Kirai by 1. Ball's got to come over once again. Steffes. And Luyties with a one-arm stab. Ricky. Oh, he just missed it. Looking over his shoulder, the most difficult ball in volleyball to put away.
You get no look at the net, no look at the defense. You can barely look back at the ball, that ball coming right over the top of your head. But Luyties is going for it.
Talked about the importance of this tournament to Kent Steffes. If he could win the bonus pool or win this week, he'd still be in the hunt for first place in the bonus pool. Oh, little pinball defense for 30 points. Bing, 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 bing.
And Kent Steffes will
That's
serve
the opportunity
7.
that Kirai and Steffes were waiting for. Karch is trying to funnel Adam Johnson, take his line, funnel him towards his teammate Kent Steffes. Big ping down.
7-7. They'll try Johnson again.
Watch the roll to the line.
Blocked. Chance for a point. Kent.
Oh,
Yes.
excellent, excellent swing. Two great plays back-to-back for the 8-7 side chain.
So Steffes and Kirai starting to turn it on just a bit. Our championship final 8-7 when we come back to the flats. We are hoping to squeeze this one in as clouds approaching, foreboding clouds approaching from the east. Our championship final here in Cleveland. Next week, our final regular season telecast, the Miller Lite Seal Beach Open. Check your local listings for dates and times. There will be a couple of more tournaments. Those will be
AVP
telecast by
Miller Lite Tour would like to
NBC, but our
extend
final
a
Prime
special
Network one
thank you.
is next week. Chris Marlowe with Paul Sunderland. Great crowd on hand, enthusiastic,
Thank you very much, Brent, for all
very
your hard work.
knowledgeable,
Foot Locker,
and
America's
we have a
most
good one
complete
going.
athletic
Kent
footwear
Steffes
store.
and his partner Karch Kirai leading Adam Johnson and Ricky Luyties 8-7. A couple of big plays just moments ago have turned it around just a bit. Steffes serving. And Ricky waffles one out of bounds. So now Steffes and Kirai back on Luyties.
3 in a row, points scored by Kirai and Steffes. Ricky Luyties in the good rhythm, get off him for a little while, go to Adam Johnson, and now back to Luyties.
9-7. Steffes and Kirai lead. And Steffes off his arm. He just can't serve, and he just can't dig, but he's siding out so well that his team is hanging in.
Kirai and
7-9.
Steffes, much better scoring team when Kent is at the net blocking and Karch is chasing and doing the conversion out of transition.
Kent has done very well, as you saw, with Karch in the finals. Without him, not quite so well. And a smart hit by Kirai going deep, trying to get away from the big block of Luyties. So intimidating is Luyties that former champ Jim Menges, when he came back to the beach, someone said, well, what's been the biggest change in the game? He said, Ricky Luyties. He's so big. And he blocks anything that's within 4 feet of the net. Johnson cutting inside. Luyties pretty good caller of the play.
Well, he's very confident with his set. He's got sweet hands. He's not worried about dishing the ball up there in terms of violation of the rules. So he just sets the ball and then takes a quick look. But one thing to remember about Ricky as well, he can jump. He's got excellent springs, and he's 6'5".
Adam Johnson will put the ball in play. Trailing by a couple, 9-7. Trying Karch. AJ with a dig to get to 8. And And he does.
See the excellent set by Ricky Luyties. He's not worried about throwing the ball. It happens maybe 1 out of 500. Look at that. Just sweet location, height, and A.J. ripping cross court in spite of Kent Steffes making a pretty good blocking move.
Steffes by 1. Johnson wearing his customary Nike foot digs, his foot protection. That time it goes long.
Need them this week, too. Lots of little boulders out here in these temporary courts.
There they are, the colorful kind. This week, what colors would you say those are, Paul?
Purple and, let's call it cantaloupe.
I like magenta and lava. Oh, and Steffes can't get there. Once again, the nice little tasty shot over the block.
Might not be a bad idea for Steffes to block all the time for a while, whether he's serving or not. Let him block all the time and let Kirai play defense. I would imagine that they're a much better scoring team with Kirai in the back row.
I don't agree. 13 kills for Luyties as he leads the killer loop. If you do that, Steffes will tire out and die if he has to block every time, I think.
He's only 23.
Ball is to Johnson to tie it up. And they do. So Ricky Luyties and Adam Johnson, I think you called it earlier, Paul, that is definitely the better side.
Luyties doing a nice job setting the ball, and Adam showing you he's got excellent shots from the left, and this time a ball that Kent Steffes probably should have made a move for down the line.
Trouble, trouble, trouble. Big play here to take the lead. Johnson. Bingo! So 3 straight points given up by Steffes Kirai.
Luyties will serve 10-9.
Kirai and Steffes had scored 3 in a row to take a lead, and now Johnson and Luyties come back with their own string. And a good timeout, I think, here called by Karch Kirai and Kent Steffes. They need a minute to think things over.
Kirai and Steffes.
So Ricky Luyties and Adam Johnson have the 1-point lead. Luyties and Johnson trying to win their second straight tournament. Luyties has never won 2 tournaments in a row. Neither has Adam Johnson. So this would be a big step in their process of building a future together, don't you think?
Well, we talked about the changes that have taken place on the Pro Beach Tour at the top of the show, particularly on this eastern and midwestern swing. The return of Karch Kirai and the emergence of this new team of Ricky Luyties and Adam Johnson as a real factor from day 1 of the tournament. I think that they're going to be right there in the hunt the rest of the year.
Pressure now on Kent Steffes and Karch Kirai, trailing by 1. They need to win this game and then win another game to 7. Blocked. Ricky Luyties, if you lob over Luyties, you better get it high. So the Flying Dutchman starting to swat him down. We're coming back. Johnson and Luyties are ahead by 2. Don't forget, next week we move back to sunny Southern California, the Miller Lite Seal Beach Open. Check your local listings. Make sure you watch that or come out to Seal Beach. It should be a great crowd, and that is going to be for a lot of money. I believe it's $150,000, isn't it?
It's $100,000 at Seal, and then we've got Jose Cuervo tournament coming up, $200,000 in prize money, and then of course Hermosa with $250,000 and the payout of all the bonus pool.
Karch, Ricky back to him.
Oh,
and Ricky lobs long. Boy, that would have been a big play and a nice defensive play by Kirai and Steffes. That would have made it 12-9.
that was a very big play. 12-9 lead.
Kirai, the service line.
And a point on the board from the bad side.
Kirai serving. Now back on the good side, and see the good side has been piling up lately. Doesn't appear very windy, but there's something about it. Johnson hits it out. So a hitting error for Johnson, maybe trying to get the hands of Steffes. Missed him.
Unforced error, hitting the ball out of bounds. And clearly the side that Kirai and Steffes occupy is the good side.
So Kirai and Steffes really need to make some hay on this side, get a lot of points, because they're not going to win it on that side. And good choice that time by Johnson. Luyties giving him the call. They seem to get along very, very well together.
Well, I think they're a good match in terms of demeanor and personality. Both class guys. When you have a partner on the beach, you usually travel together, you room together, you go out to dinner together. It's important that you have a lot more in common than just the game.
Sounds like a marriage.
Well, to a large degree it is. That's why so many of them end up in divorce court, just like the national average.
Kent Steffes gets the kill. 10 serving 11. Steffes still looking for his jump serve. Hasn't been able to find it, at least today. You never know, though. And Luyties tattoos one inside.
That ball was set in the middle of the court. I didn't think Ricky had room to hit the ball past Kirai into the cross-court area. Watch how high Ricky Luyties gets. Just up, up, and straight down. And remember, we're playing in the sand.
Johnson makes the play, but it's going wide, and Luyties can't get there. Kirai and Steffes having trouble scoring points on Luyties and Johnson. And vice versa. Karch serving, trailing by 1. Can't convert. Now AJ will put the ball in play, and he'll float serve this time. Almost a spectacular play by Adam Johnson.
Almost too quick. He was expecting a much better shot from Kent Steffes. This is the beginning of the play. AJ hustling, working hard, comes over. Now look, Adam's going way over, expecting the angle. He actually overran it.
Kind of a lucky play for Steffes Kirai. 1-point lead for Johnson and Luyties. And another one out of bounds. Let me see the service errors.
Service errors now. Kirai and Steffes with 6. Luyties and Johnson with 5.
Any aces for Kirai and Steffes?
Kirai and Steffes have 2 aces.
Ricky.
Good.
Keeping everything on Steffes.
And Ricky is rejecting back. The stealth blocker is up there. Karch. Johnson. He kills it.
Johnson took the final swing, but it was his partner, Ricky Luyties, who made that play possible, getting his hands on 3 swings at the net. This is the very end. Nice dig. And AJ, with good composure, just rolled the ball to the open court for the important score. 12-10 lead.
And the ensuing serve is missed, so Kirai and Steffes need most likely 3 over here to have a chance in this one.
Why was Ricky Luyties serving the ball to Karch Kirai there? After that important score, taking the lead.
He wanted to.
Making a mistake.
Ricky bouncing on the line. So Ricky Luyties huffing and puffing just a bit after some heavy blocking work at the net.
Well, Luyties has also received now 17 serves. Johnson 12. Talk about exercise. Steffes has received 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 serves. Kirai only 7.
Well, Luyties is at the net, but his hands are on his shorts. And I think that's one of the things that Kirai and Steffes were trying to do, is trying to tire Ricky out. And if they could get to the sudden death game of 7, they might have a point, but they got to get there first.
And just to remind everybody, double elimination tournament, Kirai and Steffes with 1 loss already. Johnson and Luyties undefeated. If Kirai and Steffes win this game, we'll play sudden death to 7 points to decide it.
See the kills. Well, that one was in. Oh, that's got to be a double contact, and Luyties is upset. Let's listen.
From the right, from the left hand. No, it didn't. It was 2.
Jim, that's terrible.
It was a double hit. It was a double hit.
That half rotation.
So Ricky Luyties into it now.
Will serve 11-12.
And Luyties will take time out and go back and yell at him some more.
Double hit, and I called it a double hit.
The turning point in the match.
30 seconds.
He already got a yellow card. That's just a warning. And Jim Leonard will be very hesitant to give a red
Left
card.
to right. He went from left to right.
And as we've explained to you many times, left to right to left hand or left to right hand transfer is no good. Too tight, Paul?
I don't think so. You know what really called it here? It sounded awful. It came out with just kind of a splotch. I tell you, this is a good sign, though. I think this is the coming out of Ricky Luyties, though, because years ago he never would have screamed at the referees like this. Really feeling a lot of confidence.
12-11 is our score. Johnson and Luyties by 1. Steffes to serve.
Nice job. I don't want to let the young kids out there think that yelling at the referee is a good idea. But if you're playing with good confidence, you have to stand up for what you think and also put pressure on the referee.
Luyties, the hitter blocker. He'll move to the net. He's ahead by 1. And out of the reach of Johnson. Can Karai and Steffes come back and pull this one out and send it to the tiebreaker? The clock is at 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Hasn't come into play much in this tournament. We're using a 12-minute action clock. Blocked, tapped, score! So Steffes getting a little bit of revenge. Could not get over the top of Ricky Luyties and wants to show everybody that he too can get up and block. Smart play. One of the interesting rules of volleyball, if you're a blocker, you can touch it in succession twice. It must be successive, however. And that time Ricky going over the top.
Now it's a game to 3 between Steffes and Luyties right here. Who's going to make the plays? Who's going to be able to side out?
So the leading men, perhaps Luyties and Steffes, the supporting actors, Karai and Johnson right there. 12-12. He got a touch. It went over and out, but Luyties directed it out. Well, I tell you, you really have to hit that roll shot high when you're going over Ricky Luyties.
Well, the net's 8 feet. Luyties is about at 11, so you got to aim up.
Steffes dials up a spader just when he needs it most. Steffes with the ace. And we're going to break, but we're coming back. Steffes and Karai by 1, but now they're going to the bad side. Can they hang on? Find out. Back on the AVP Tour 1991. This stop, the Miller Lite Cleveland Open. I'm Chris Marlowe along with Paul Sunderland. We're in final action. Karai and Steffes with 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in our initial final lead. Johnson and Luyties by 1, but Steffes and Karai have now gone on to the bad side. The wind is at their backs. Also, they have the smokestack shadow in their court, which could be confusing.
Look at that. 17 points on the good side, only 8 on the bad side.
Steffes just served an ace, and he'll work on Luyties. Karsh stuffs Luyties. 14-12. Big play there. Didn't even have to receive one on the bad side.
Tight set. Karsh Kirai getting his hands over quick and early. Remember, Steffes and Kirai win. We go to a double final, sudden death to 7.
Game point. It's not over. This little portion is so our first double final of the summer. And summer's almost over. It's coming, though. Karsh and Kent, AJ and Luyties, and the crowd loves it. We'll play 1 game to 7. After this, stay with us. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland were back. Our first double final of the year. Karai and Steffes, Johnson and Luyties, side out scoring, and Luyties goes on 2. Try to give you the rules of this double final if we can.
Side out service.
Luyties positioning himself at the net. Somewhere in that first final, there it is. 1 game to 7, win by 1. Side change every 2 points. There is a 6-minute clock, and once again, the first double final. Out of the reach of Johnson. Paul Sunderland, it all seemed to go awry for Luyties and Johnson. Ahead 12-10. The throw was called on Luyties. They gave up 5 straight points after that.
Well, Karai and Steffes lifted their game a little bit. Couple of good blocks, but maybe Ricky let that particular play get into his head for a little bit too long a period of time. They didn't score after that.
Still working on Ricky. Double Kong block, and Luyties jousts off Steffes.
That's a pretty good contest. Two very similar players in terms of size and strength. Ricky with a little more experience this time into the block and out of bounds.
Steffes needs one more year of heavy weightlifting to get to the power of Luyties. Trouble. Luyties on the left. He played there earlier in the year. Yes, he did, and he gets a point.
Played on the left with Mike Dodd, won on the left with Mike Dodd in San Antonio. Doesn't get a chance to hit from there very often because he's usually at the net blocking and doesn't play much defense. This time, just waffling this one right by the blocker for the score.
1-0 Johnson and Luyties. Our double final. And Steffes sizzles one hard. Luyties can't believe he missed that one.
I'll tell you, we don't feel much wind up here. Of course, we've got restaurants and buildings all around us, but it is blowing, and Kirai and Steffes are on the bad side right now. Important that they score a couple in this game to 7 from the bad side.
Or at least one here, working on Ricky.
Oh,
Karch stuffs Luyties, so they go and change at 1-1. Play continues. And now Luyties and Johnson face with the task on the bad side.
Watch the hands of Karch Kirai. Knows Ricky Luyties, played with him, and jumping and taking the cross court. Karch only 6'3", is...
Yeah, but he's a yumping yak.
A yumping yak. That's exactly right.
1-1.
My Swedish brother-in-law says, hey, he's a yumping yak.
Johnson finally warms up the hitting arm. I sometimes think Johnson may be shooting a little too much. When he blasts, he really got some heat.
Well, I think you can blast against Steffes, but if you blast that shot against Kirai, hit right to him, he's gonna get it up.
Adam Johnson has changed his foot digs. He's now into the dark purple ones, the light ones, so he probably got the sand out of those and switched to a new pair. Steffes. And Steffes whaps it down the line. So Karch Kirai and Kent Steffes, after winning the first final 15-12, tied here in the double final 1-1. Karch serving. Blocked and down. So one blocked for Kirai and one for Steffes. Keep in mind, Kent Steffes has to win to have a chance at the bonus pool.
Steffes and Kirai didn't block at all well in the first game to 15. Poorly. They have as many blocks right now as they had in the other game that was to 15 points in its entirety.
Oh, Johnson right on the line. You can't cut it any finer than AJ just did. Outside stripe of the strand.
This a very key side out. Look at Karch. Looking and hoping and wishing and praying, and none of it is answered.
Great camera work by our Prime Network crew. We're on the ball today.
Tight set. Look out.
Karch against Ricky. And Ricky puts it away. So a couple of opportunities. That one
Ladies and gentlemen,
transformed by Ricky Luyties and AJ. 2-2 is our score. Coming back. We're only playing to 7, so don't go to the refrigerator. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland were back. Let's take a look at the other finishers here in Cleveland. Third place, Brent Frohoff, Scott Akatubby. Fourth place, our congratulations to Tim Walmer and Owen, tough guy McKibben. They played very, very well. Spectacular play. Hovland and Dodd, Moodhart and Dvorak in fifth. Moodhart and Dvorak were very good. Friedrichs and Lewis, Jim Nichols and Troy Tanner with an excellent finish off the four-man tour. They finished in seventh. Then we slip it into ninth place. Chavez and Young, Muir and Welch. Powers and Jantz very disappointing, as were Andrew Smith and Vandewey. Clark and Wirtz, they are going to break up. Rogers and Brivich. Boyles and Davis, Carrillo and Zapata. Do we have 17th? We do. And there's the gang right there. We have all the finishers for you. Who finished in 24th? Sunderland and Marlowe. Okay, here we go. Luyties and Johnson back on the good side against Kirai and Steffes. Our double final, plan to 7. Survival of the fittest. A very big play earlier, Paul.
By the block of Luyties.
A couple rallies back over the net. Johnson and Luyties converting, now going on to the good side.
And will serve 2.
You want to be able to stay on that good side, or at least score 1 point, as each team has done on the bad side.
Now people understand why we switch sides at multiples of 5 in a game to 15 or multiples of 2 out here in overtime. You must make things fair with regard to sun and, of course, the wind.
Ricky Luyties gently tapping that through, so Johnson will have the ball. We're tied at 2. Double final on Prime Network.
Yep.
Steffes. Nice dig. It's coming to the net. And Luyties over Karai.
Nice elevation by Ricky Luyties. And watch at the end of this play, it looks like Kent Steffes has a chance. Here's earlier part. Nice dig by Adam Johnson. Here comes the joust over the top. Yeah, no, that was a tough chance. He did probably think it was out.
3-2. Karch hits it out. So Karai with a hitting mistake. And now Johnson and Luyties in great position. 4-2 is our score. Once again, we switch sides.
Play is continuous through one side change. Players only get a break after 4 points are scored. There's a big lead in a game to 7. If they can get one right now on the bad side, they're in control.
Johnson serving. And he flips one over to Karch. And Karch tomahawks one down the line. So Karai and Steffes, the underdogs in this one, at least at the moment. Johnson and Luyties won last week, trying to win their second straight tournament, establish themselves. Karai and Steffes have already done that for their team. Keep in mind that only one team has come out of the losers bracket to win this year, and it was last week, Johnson and Luyties, and they did not have to play a double final, however. 4-2 Luyties serving.
Steffes side out and service.
The duel continues between Kent Steffes and Ricky Luyties, keeping the ball on one another.
And Steffes going back to the jump serve now.
Come on!
Steffes has it. Good chance for a point here. Kent tapping, scoring. I would say the difference between Luyties and Johnson, they both hit great, but I think Johnson's shots are a little more technical than Ricky. When he shoots, he's not quite as good as when he hits. Still a spectacular offensive player. It's the first one they picked up in quite some time. 4-3.
That's trouble.
Oh, it's out of bounds. Did he touch it?
No.
He did not. He didn't. No, he didn't touch it, and we're tied at 4. So it looks like we're going all the way, as the old geezer said to the Cincinnati kid.
Here's the end of the point. You can change your mind. Oh, that ball is way out of bounds, and no question, no touch, and in for the landing, and going to change.
4-4, and we're going for more. We're coming back after this. The Killer Lou Kill Award is still up in the air. Steffes is leading, Luyties behind. We're tied at 4. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland were in a double final in Cleveland, a death struggle. Steffes needs to win the last 3 tournaments to have a chance to win the Miller Lite bonus pool. That would win him $100,000. But he has to win. And Ricky Luyties and Adam Johnson making it very, very difficult. We're playing to 7. And we're tied 4-4.
Talked about Ricky Luyties not having the same quality of shots as Adam Johnson. I agree, but if I had his ability, I would never shoot the ball unless you had to. Just hammer away.
Well, remember in Milwaukee, Ricky came up with some very fine cut shots and rainbows as Johnson serves. Score, Johnson.
AJ will serve 5-4.
5-4 is our score. Just to clarify on Steffes, if he wins today and wins the next 2 tournaments, that will guarantee him first place in the bonus pool. If he doesn't win today, he still has a shot. But not much of one, we think. Oh, Johnson digging lips. Swing of the match. Karch has it. Big play here. Karch saving point. Oh, what a big play. Steffes and Karai, they got to have a point on the bad side now. They got to have one.
Adam Johnson, who's the best defender on the beach right now? Is it St. John Smith? Is it Adam Johnson? I'll tell you, AJ is going to get a lot of votes, and we're going to have the results of the prime ticket poll for you next week on our last show of the year from Seal Beach. We're going to pick our best blocker, best setter, most valuable player, best hitter.
Timeout has been called by Ricky Luyties and Adam Johnson. 5-4. They lead Steffes and Karai.
One timeout allowed.
St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos, if you're wondering where they are, they went to Italy to play for 30 grand apiece. Reportedly, they are guaranteed appearance fee money. And of course, they win the tournament, that will mean more. So Karai and Steffes battling it out with Luyties and Johnson. 4 serving 5. Karch has it up. It's got to come over. Steffes touched it. Over the top goes Ricky. Wind really gusting now. Chilling down very quickly.
It's getting darn right cold out here, and the players are not going to cool off. They've been working out in the warm sun in a very, very enclosed area. But the wind coming in.
And chopping inside.
Steffes going to have to stay positive and stay loose. His young counterpart, Adam Johnson, they're the two best younger players on the Pro Beach Tour. Steffes 23, Johnson 26.
Steffes, team trailing by 1. Johnson tapping down the line. Tapping.
He does have better shots. He's got the hammer cross court. He can slice the angle, and he's got the good roll shot over the top of the block.
And he has an excellent jump serve.
And you're going to see it right here from the good side.
Johnson with a dig. Chance for a point. To save another one. Oh, no. The wrong spot. AJ. Oh, it goes out of bounds. Can you believe it?
That tells the whole story right there. Ricky Luyties with 2 bump-setting chances to score the all-important 6th point, and he gaffed them both. Look at Adam faking. He's right there. Adam's licking his chops, and his partner sets the ball to Mars.
And Steffes says, thank God. Now, 5-4.
Tight set.
And jamming over the top once again, the more powerful Luyties jamming on Steffes.
Steffes has got to do one of 2 things: get stronger or pull your hands out of the way. Oftentimes the hitter is aiming out of bounds with that shot.
5 serving 4. Luyties and Johnson still have command. And chopping down the line. Boy, you have to make sure that there's no one there when you do that, because if that ball is blocked, if Luyties is there, that's a stuff.
Watch, I'll bet Ricky jumps way into the cross court early. Yeah, big move, and Kent's got an excellent shot down the line.
4 serving 5. There's the cut shot of Luyties.
I was watching Kent Steffes play defense that time, and he's very, very stationary.
Got the cement feet?
And in too high a position. He's not bounding. You know, like when you see a tennis player receive serve, they're hopping on their toes. I think he's got to work on that because he's not getting an early break on the ball.
Battle going on for the Miller Lite Cleveland Championship and the Killer Loop Award.
Bad set again.
Trouble in the wind. Oh, just out of bounds by a foot. A rabbit's foot.
What the players will tell you is that when you're hitting the ball into the wind, the court seems 2 or 3 feet bigger, so they take chances. But this time, Adam was about 4 feet long, ending up being only out by about 3 inches.
2 scoring chances going by the boards for Luyties and Johnson.
And over.
And Steffes can't convert the block. Luyties gets another kill. That's 11 here in the double final. So he's racking them up. He's honing in on the killer loop.
Side out, 5-4.
At the end of regulation, Steffes had 19. Luyties had 16. Steffes.
Another opportunity.
Oh, what a shot! And Ricky Luyties pulls off a spectacular cut shot.
And continue to play. And it is
Now 6-4.
That might be the best shot Ricky Luyties has made on the beach in a long, long time. It took him 3 chances, but look at him slice off the angle against Karch-Kiraly.
It is championship point. Ricky Luyties making the money play. Can he wrap it up along with Johnson? First chance. Going to Karch. And Karch is going to the sand.
Not this time.
Why in the world would you go to Karch-Kiraly in that particular situation? You just scored off Kent Steffes. Ricky, I don't understand it.
Could be thinking that maybe Karch not ready to receive, maybe not ready to hit.
Who are you kidding?
Just a thought.
Championship point, he's not ready.
Well, could be expecting the serve to Steffes. 6-4. Steffes and Kiraly now on the good side. Obviously, oh, Spader. Steffes dials it up when he needs it.
Serving the dog all day long on the jump serve, and when under pressure, these players are just able to raise the level of their game.
Trying to tie it up at 6. 5 serving 6. And Ricky thunders another one through. What a confidence builder this would be for Luyties and Johnson. If they can put it away.
They're talking over right now what they want to do.
Johnson will serve.
Championship point number 2.
You got to think it's going to Steffes.
I think they'll go to Steffes and take his cross court, let AJ cover line.
Pressure's on. And it's out. No touch. Johnson and Luyties win Cleveland.
2 victories in a row, and I think that's a breakthrough for Ricky Luyties. This team, people are going to have to deal with them the rest of the year.
Adam Johnson. Congratulations to Karch-Kiraly and
the hottest team on the beach continues. Luyties and Johnson outlast Kiraly and Steffes 7-5 in our double final. We're coming back. We'll talk to him after this. Sunglasses by Bausch & Lomb, the official sunglasses of the AVP, is pleased to present the Killer Loop Kill Award. This week's Killer Loop Kill Award goes to, yes, the big fella, Ricky Luyties. Ricky Luyties for scoring 29 kills in the final match. Luyties will receive $500 from Bausch & Lomb for his killer performance. And it was just enough, a double final. Kiraly and Steffes winning the first final, but then losing 7-5 in overtime. Johnson and Luyties, the new kings of the beach. Let's find out from Paul.
In the final of the year here in Cleveland, Ricky Luyties, Adam Johnson defeat the #1 seeds this week, Karch-Kiraly and Kent Steffes, not once, but twice. That is a huge, huge win right down to the wire. You knew that Karch was going to be coming to you the whole match long. Were you ready for it?
We were ready. We knew they were coming, and we knew they'd be hungrier the second time. We were ready for it, and we talked about it, saying, okay, main thing we have to do is be ready to pass or serve and side out. We'll score our points, and it came down to it, and we did it.
Adam, 2 wins in a row. This is a team now that's only been together 2 weeks. You've won both times, and Chris Marlowe and I have said that this is a team that's got to be dealt with through the rest of the season. Why are you guys so good and so quick?
Well, we have a big blocker at the net. We have a good, scrappy defenser in the back. I think we complement each other very well, and I think from that standpoint, that's why we're doing so well.
Making the decision to pick up Ricky Luyties, looking better and better all the time. Now, Ricky, you and I have known each other a long time, and everybody said, hey, when is Ricky Luyties going to start winning the big tournaments? He's got all this potential, all this physical ability. When is he going to become a real factor on the beach? Is now your time?
I sure hope so. I hope the end of the season is my time. It's been a long time coming, and I think, you know, it's been taking me a while to get used to playing on the beach regularly. I've gone indoors back and forth, and, you know, playing on the beach is really repetition and doing it, getting out and doing it. And I think every time I come out, I'm getting a little better and a little more steady, and the steadiness is the key.
All right, I don't think Adam Johnson's going to let you get out of the country and go play in Europe this winter. He's smiling right now. Congratulations to you both. Our winners here for the second week in a row. Last week, Milwaukee. This week, Cleveland. Adam Johnson and Ricky Luyties, and who knows what's going to happen next week in Seal Beach. Maybe 3 in a row. Chris, back up to you.
So Luyties and Johnson 2 for 2. Luyties wins his 3rd this year. Johnson wins his 3rd this year. We'll come back to Cleveland and wrap it up for you after this.